What's going on, everyone? Seth Miranda here for Adorama TV with something you're probably not going to buy. This is the upper echelon that is Profoto. This is the next evolution of the Pro 10 pack, the Pro 11. So this is a 2400 watt second 2-head pack. You've got 20 channels, 6 groups, all the usual stuff. It's the same interface, so if you've used one, you've used them all, which is great because this is really something for like rental houses and commercial stuff. So if you're someone that's constantly having to go into a rental house or assist people or things like that, you know how to use this pack. Also, Profoto's interface is just that super intuitive and clean and sleek like that. Now, aside from all that pretty stuff, we are looking at 2400 watt seconds. We're also looking at full 11 stop control from 0.1 all the way to full 10, which is awesome. But the real thing about these packs that's super special is the high power output, the consistency, the fast flash duration, and the fast recycle, while all staying consistent with both color and exposure. So this thing has the top end flash duration is 1/80,000th of a second. Of course, the lower you go down in power, the faster the flash duration. And that's the T1. The T5 is 17,500th of a second. And that's kind of the measurement you want to look at more, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but T5 is really where you want to look at as far as flash duration goes. Okay, so that's cool and everything like that, but when I look at new, I want to know what's new about it. This is actually seeming kind of the same interface, same power, same performance that we've gotten, except now they built it a little crazier. They're saying that it's actually more resistant to internal condensation, which is great for anybody that's out there on the set that goes into different temperature conditions. You don't have to worry about this. It's made to hold up. This is what rental houses are all about, is stuff that gets thrown around, chucked into trucks, thrown around on set, used by different people, random people. You know, some people kind of disrespect it, but it'll hold up. Oof. Now, sorry. So, the one thing that's really different about it now is it has AirX. AirX is the Bluetooth connection to the new Profoto line, the A10, the B10, the B10 Plus. You can check out the A10 video in the link below. We did that and we kind of showed you just how awesome that actually is. It sounds crazy to connect your phone to something this nuts, but it does more than just connect to your phone. Without going to the pack, and I said this 1,000 times in the A10 video, it's like you're going right up to the light and having the entire interface in there. So all the settings, all the menus, even firmware updates are right there in the palm of my hand. I can change groups, channels, change putting the sound on for the beep ready signal. I could change the continuous light, everything. Anything that I can get into from the interface is the same interface that's in the Profoto app. And that's what's pretty awesome about it, especially the firmware updates. So rental houses that have a few of these on deck no longer have to plug in each pack. They just walk through the phone and pop, 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 pop through Bluetooth. They're off to the races. And I know what you're thinking, Bluetooth is kind of like, nah. And this is personal experience, I am like shocked how seamless and quick and clean Profoto's new line of lights are to connecting to my phone. It's been pretty awesome so far. Well, that's all cool, and I talked about the performance, but the one thing I didn't mention was the 50 frames per second is the top speed of recycling on this thing. So we're gonna get a fast camera in here and we're gonna shoot fast and see if this thing really holds up. Okay, so let's go through this interface a little bit. And like I said, if you've used Profoto at all, this is super intuitive, probably some of the easiest interface and lighting in the industry, honestly. And if you've assisted anybody that's been using Profoto, you are at home here. So you have your navigation right here. You can rotate through what you want to get to. You have your 6 groups, A through F. You have your channels 1 through 20, which is great to have that much of a selection in case you're in some areas that might have some interference or there's multiple packs on set. Again, this is a commercial grade type lighting, so there might be that many packs on set for something huge, right? Also, your continuous lighting on max or proportional to your power setting. And I can go through all the menus and settings and stuff here, but what's really cool about this is the Bluetooth. Right over here, you can either have it on or off. We're gonna put it on, obviously, and I'm gonna show you that as soon as I go to the Profoto app and I see that it sees the Pro 11, boom, I'm connected. No hang up, no, oh man, this Bluetooth is slow, searching or pairing, it's there. And right in my palm of my hand, I have the same menus that are inside this light. So I can actually change the power on the fly. I can go from 0.1, that's 1/10 of a stop power, all the way up to 2400 watt seconds full power ripping through this thing. And again, the fast recycle, you know, the fast flash duration and having all that power is really the key to this pack. But I can also go into the cog and I have all the menu system right here, even advanced, where I can update the firmware right from the phone into the pack, which is great for rental houses. They don't have to plug in each pack when there's an update or if there's something that they're adding feature-wise or whatever. The phone, boom, it's all transferred over super, super easy. You can change your ready signal from dim to sound and dim, turn it off completely. I can go into the light itself and I can turn on the modeling light. You can see it back there, turn it off. Everything that I can get to inside the actual light is right here in the palm of my hand, and that's awesome. And it seems like Profoto's really thinking ahead with where they can go with this. Right now it's for your phone. Who knows where it goes, but the new line, the A10, the B10, the B10 Plus, and now the Profoto Pro-11 pack now has Bluetooth capability. So they're just getting their ducks in a row here, and I'm really excited to see where this goes from here. All right, so one of the cool things about having this much power is being able to overpower the ambient light. And I am in a daylight studio and I fight these windows every time. I'm really not much of a daylight shooter, so this is kind of what's gonna happen here. Now the problem is usually with putting out more power from your flash, you end up getting longer flash duration. So you end up not being able to freeze anything that's going on. So I'm gonna crunch down the camera to a point where the exposure takes out most of this ambient light. Let me walk you through this because it's gonna get a little complicated, but stay with me on this, I promise, we're gonna be okay. All right, so I have the Pro-11 right here on a Manfrotto super clamp on a J hook. It basically is its own sandbag, but you know, just in case I got a sandbag here. And we're gonna just put a Pro head on an arm, go into a Profoto Silver Large umbrella with a diffuser sock. Inside here though is a CTB gel. And I'm doing that because I'm gonna balance for it so that this becomes neutral, but this light goes orange. That way we get kind of like a sunsetty type feel, but we can also tell where our ambient light is affecting the shot and where the strobe is affecting the shot. So it gives us like dual purpose. Again, I'm not really gonna go for beauty and some amazing shot here. I'm just gonna go to see how hard we can push this pack and still freeze some action a little bit. We're gonna get a little bit of motion blur, but the reason for that is all this reflection happening around here, and that's where all this black comes in. I know you're gonna call me out for that, but hear me out. No matter what I set this camera to, it can't crunch out all the light. So it's not a matter of the pack itself, it's a matter of the camera recording the light that's still in the space. This is a Sony Alpha 1, 30 frames per second. Well, they told me this can go 50 frames per second, so we should be okay here. We're gonna see if it can keep up, freeze action, stay consistent, and just get me a shot of my model. Oh yeah, I told you I'd talk about the black, right? Okay. This is all to stop reflection. So even though I'm shooting with the Sony Alpha 1, it still is gonna be at a 200th of a second. So if any light is bouncing off of this white wall and reflecting back on my model, I'm really shooting at 200th of a second, and that's not gonna freeze anything if the ambient light is still making exposure on my model. So that's all that's doing, is absorbing any kind of residual light coming from the windows this way. So we're basically gonna try to make our model a silhouette, crunch down all the ambient light with our exposure, and then just let this do all the heavy lifting while still freezing, staying consistent, recycling fast, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me get a model in here so you guys can be psyched that you're watching this. Come on, Marissa, let's do this. All right. So Marissa's gonna do something super simple. We're just gonna have her walk from one side to the other and kind of do a twist, let the dress go with inertia and the hair along with the inertia. And what we're basically gonna get is tack sharp on Marissa, but because we're still gonna have some ambient light coming through the windows, her hair and tips of her dress and maybe her fingertips and stuff will still have a bit of a ghosty, blurry effect, but that's because we're ready for that. We're actually making exposure for the ambient light. That's gonna happen, but let's get this into play. You ready? All right, let me get on this floor now. All right, so while I have this all set up and Marissa's ready to go, I got the Alpha 1 on the tripod and I'm locked down. Just to try it out, I'm gonna go into the app and set my group and my channel from here instead of reaching all the way over there. But I just wanna give it a shot. So we're just gonna go right over to channel 3 and boom, it's set. Nice and easy. So anything I need from inside that light, I can get from right here. And think of this on a bigger set, more packs, things like that. It's pretty valuable. 3, 2, go for it. Go for it. That felt good. That felt good. All right, so it was super fun using the Pro-11. I did what we said we were gonna do, right? I eliminated all the light in the space within reason. I kept some light coming through the windows to see the windows. That's what all that orange was. But F16, that means I closed down pretty hard, which means I had to stress out this light to boost up the power to get an exposure at F16. I think I was around between ISO 200 and 400, but even still, we were doing everything we could to see what this thing could do at a high power output. And usually with strobes, more power means longer flash duration, means slower recycle time. But even at 30 frames per second with the Sony Alpha 1, as Marissa moved or danced or whatever you want to call that motion across the floor, she stayed completely sharp. The motion was there, but it was frozen. We didn't see any frames go underexposed. It didn't look like a flickering strobe light because it was consistent in every shot. At that speed is very impressive. So I mean, it's the Pro-11. It's just like the Pro-10 was impressive, except now it's built a little more robust and you have the ability to use the AirX system with Bluetooth, like you saw me set the channel and group while I was in position. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I want to thank Profoto for letting me try out the Pro-11. I am not going to give it back. It's super heavy. You're going to have to come and get it. I don't care. It's mine now. You guys can ask me any questions you want about my experience with the Pro-11 with a comment down below. Don't forget to like, share this video around, subscribe, and the bell for more videos like this. I'm Seth Miranda, Last X Witness on all social, and I'll see you next time. Later. All right, so we did what we said we were gonna do. We crunched all the light out of the space. We went down to, me, alone. No, I was kidding. Let me try again.
Hi, me.